New quarterback, same old Dolphins, same old Mike McDaniel. Where do we go from here?
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing, we scorching the floor. Marino the tour, we stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play by play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse, we the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep.
What up, Fin fans? Welcome to another episode of the Fin Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everybody doing this wonderful Monday morning? Well, if you want to call it that, a wonderful Monday morning. The Miami Dolphins, of course, break our hearts each and every Sunday, it seems. But we should be used to that as Dolphin fans by now. So what's to say? A lot to talk about from yesterday's game. A team that has been eliminated from the playoffs, but a team that the whole franchise is in flux as of right now. We have no idea who the general manager is going to be. We have no idea who the head coach is going to be, and we have no idea who the quarterback is going to be moving forward for our Miami Dolphins. Yesterday, we had the lonely Cincinnati Bengals come to town. Cincinnati, one of the worst defenses in all of football. We know about their high-powered weapons. They got T. Higgins. They got Chase Brown. They got Jamar Chase. They got Joe Burrow. But this team has just not been healthy this year. This team has not been very good. They just lost last weekend, 24-0, to a very mediocre at best Baltimore Ravens team. Joe Burrow talking about he said, he don't know what the future holds for him. So a lot of issues with these Cincinnati Bengals. So you think this is a game that, even though Miami is starting a rookie quarterback for the very first time, even with all the issues that we've had this season, you think that the Miami Dolphins should be able to pull this game off at home? Well, it started off decent enough, right? It started off decent enough. It was a close first half, a very close first half. Uh, both teams exchanging leads before the halftime. Ultimately, Cincinnati went to the half up 17-14. Quinn Ewers made some decent plays. He looked solid. He looked solid. I think he was 10 of 12 for 94 yards in the first half. But his first completion was a great play by Darren Waller. It was a scary pass. I think it's a pass that he shouldn't make. I think he'll get better at knowing what plays to try to make and what not to make. Very risky play. It ended up turning out for us. But the Miami Dolphins look decent. Devon Achane had a long touchdown. Of course, he is the superstar player on this team. He's been the MVP of this football team. And then the second half happened 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, the start of the second half happens, and it's like we're a completely different team. Completely different team. The Miami Dolphins gave up 4 touchdowns in the first 17 minutes of the second half. So for all the fans out there that are calling for Weaver to become the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins, pump your brakes on that. Now, the offense wasn't very good yesterday. I'll give you that. But we got to stop making excuses for this defense. And I know that the offense put them in some bad positions. I know they did with a short field and this, that, and the third. But again, I can understand giving up 10 to 14 points, maybe a touchdown, maybe 10 points. But the Bengals straight smacked us in the mouth, our defense straight in the mouth with 35 unanswered points, and that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Before we get any more into this game, let's say our good mornings. Acknowledge the chat because we do that up in here. Dolphin Don, what's up? What's up? Bonnie, what's up? What's up? Let's see. We had some bad turnovers, and the defense teams have given up. Ewers is physically able to make passes that Tua just can't. I want to see McDaniel let Frank Smith call plays for a game. What the heck happens at halftime? Again, we looked terrible in the second half. I don't know. The second half started off, and, I don't like to blame the refs. An absolutely horrible offensive pass interference called on Theo Weiss. That was horrible. It negated a huge gain by Devon Achane. Just absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Let's take a look at the game stats before we get any more involved in all of this. Let's see. Right here. So obviously, like I said, 45-21. It was 17-14 going into the half. And then you can see that third quarter. It's been a Achilles heel for the Miami Dolphins all season. We've been obliterated in third quarters this year. 21 unanswered. 35 total unanswered in 17 minutes. 17 minutes of this game determined the whole game. 45-21, Cincinnati wins. This isn't a good football team, folks. This is a team that's 5-10. 4-10 coming into this game, and you're going to let them come into our building and throw up 45 on you and completely dominate you. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely disgusting. Let's take a look at the total game stats. Cincinnati had a total of 407 yards, Miami 389. That number's deceiving, though, because we had some garbage time numbers, a 97-yard drive that you take that away, these numbers look completely different. But those were garbage time numbers. Joe Flacco's in the game in the fourth quarter. Absolutely embarrassing. 302 passing yards to 260. Again, inflated numbers. 105 rushing yards to 129. 6.7 yards a play each team. Cincinnati had 23 first downs. Dolphins 19. All these stats for the Dolphins, though, again, misleading. 6 to 12 and third downs for the Cincinnati Bengals. 1-on-1 fourth downs. Total plays 61. Sacks allowed. Cincinnati only allowed 2. 4 punts. 2 penalties, 10 yards. And they possessed the ball for 31-32 of this game. Joe Burrow, 25 of 32, 309 yards, 4 touchdowns. Absolutely manhandled us. Chase Brown, 12 carries, 66 yards and a touchdown. P. Ryan, 7 carries, 25 yards and a touchdown. Jamar Chase, 9 catches, 109 yards. T. Higgins, 3 catches, 53 yards, a touchdown. Chase Brown added 4 catches, 43 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Mike Gesicki, 3 catches, 35 yards and a touchdown, the former Miami Dolphin tight end. Let's take a look at the Dolphins. Quinn Ewers, first career start, 20 of 30, 260 yards, 2 interceptions. I'm going to show you one of these interceptions, which the refs didn't do us no favors in this game. The second interception, it wasn't a great placed ball. He threw it up to Devon Achane. It was inside. Devon Achane's not the type of receiver that's going to go up and get that pass. I would have liked to see more effort from Devon Achane. I feel like Achane was he couldn't really get to the ball even if he wanted to. I felt like it could have been another defensive pass interference. Of course, the refs didn't call it, but you got to know what your personnel is. Devon Achane's not a go up and get it guy. So Quinn Ewers to toss the ball up a 50-50 ball. That's not going to work with Devon or Jalen Waddle. That's not going to work with Jalen Waddle. I feel like I was saying Devon Achane the whole time. I'm sorry if I was. Jalen Waddle's not a go up and get it guy. Achane 15 carries, 81 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Wright 9 carries, 35 yards and a touchdown. Malik Washington a carry, 9 yards, a touchdown. Again, that Devon Achane and Washington touchdowns are the only ones that I'm really counting. They were touchdowns when we were still had a chance in this game. Jalen Waddle 5 catches, 72 yards. It seemed like Quinn had a nice little thing going with Jalen Waddle. Dulich had 3 catches, 46 yards, a huge fumble. I can forgive the guy, though, because he's been stellar for us so far. Darren Waller had a couple nice catches, 3 catches for 40 yards. Theo Weiss, 2 catches late in this game for 32 yards. And Malik Washington, 1 catch, 23 yards. Again, disappointing effort from the Miami Dolphins in the second half. And I don't know what's going on in these second halves. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on because the Miami Dolphins, first half Pittsburgh Steelers, they were in the game. They were hitting. The defense was hitting hard. Defense was flying around. Same with this game. It seemed like it was going to be a nail biter, a great game, and we just let it get away from us, and it just stockpiled against us. It's Mike Gesicki to you, sir. Check out Miss Finn's channel. What up, Miss Finn's? Mr. Dean, good morning. Miller, good morning. Again, this game showed that it's not just all the quarterback. There's more issues on this team than just quarterback. Like I said, Quinn Ewers, he was decent. Nothing spectacular. I would like to see him get more zip on his ball. I'd like him to be more decisive. I think he questioned himself too much, especially that first play, the Darren Waller, where he kind of threw it up to Darren Waller and Darren Waller made a great catch on it. You know, the first two options were wide open on that play, and he didn't let it rip. He didn't let it rip. He's got to have more confidence. I think that will come. But again, a bad offensive pass interference to start the second half. Theo Weiss was only trying to run his route, and the linebacker ran into him. It brought back a huge amount of HM play. That was an absolute bullshit call. But then again, you know, I can't blame the refs completely because that did not make Dolich fumble the next play. Dolich did that on his own. What up, Marcos? I like Theo Weiss. He's a big physical wide receiver. He can catch the ball. But even on the interception, he doesn't run very good routes. He doesn't run very good routes. He has trouble gaining separation because he doesn't run good routes. If you go back and watch that, he rounds off the route instead of cutting it hard. He's got to get better at that if he wants to see playing time with the Miami Dolphins. He did it all through training camp too. He made a lot of nice plays, but you gotta run crisper routes. You got to. And he does not do that well. He's got to improve on that. Like I said, Theo Weiss, I like him. He's big. He can catch the ball, but he's got to become a better route runner. I feel like that was defensive pass interference. I'm going to show you proof of it. That was the first interception that Quinn Ewers threw, a deflection, but this was a pass interference. Take a look at it. Josh Newton all over Theo Weiss. The ball's over here. The ball's all the way back here. He is straight mugging him. Straight mugging the guy. Give me a break. Give me a break. Like I said, Theo Weiss with the 2 interceptions didn't do our defense no favors, but we can't let this defense off the hook. We can't let this defense off the hook. Like I said, we gave them a couple short fields. Okay, give up a touchdown. Give up 10 points. You know, but they give up 35 unanswered points. 21 in the third quarter alone. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You know, one thing this game did show me is that we don't have the personnel on defense to match up with a team like the Cincinnati Bengals. They got elite playmakers, and we just don't have the caliber players on our defense to match up with these guys. Who we got to match up with T. Higgins? And anybody, you know, wants to say that the Miami Dolphins had the best number 2 receiver in all of football in Jalen Waddle, go take a look at T. Higgins. They're not even in the same atmosphere. T. Higgins by far was the best number 2 receiver in the NFL. T. Higgins, when you talk about 1A, 1B, that's truly T. Higgins. T. Higgins is a number 1 on 95% of the other teams in the NFL. T. Higgins is an absolute beast. Far superior player to Jalen Waddle. Far superior. Quinn offbeat them passing that. Malik touchdown was set up 5 straight pass plays. Quinn was able to move the ball until it was obvious passing situations. And then Mike called so many dumb plays. Listen, Quinn Ewers had a decent game. I'll give credit where credit's due. But what did I see out of Quinn Ewers? I see nothing more than someone that is going to be I've seen that he's an NFL quarterback first and foremost. I want to start by saying that. I think he has the capability of being a quarterback in the NFL. I did not see enough to think that for any reason the Miami Dolphins should invest or even consider Quinn Ewers the starting quarterback for the future of the Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers at best is a backup quarterback. Quinn is no better than a backup quarterback, folks. And if you allow yourself to believe in this Quinn Ewers hype train, you're just going to lead yourself down a negative road. We're going to be in the same position as we were with Tua Tagovailoa, where we got a fan base absolutely split. And I mean, I just don't know why you'd like to settle for mediocrity. Quinn Ewers is not going to, he don't have the potential to be a top 10 quarterback in this league. So we're talking about his cap being somewhere at 15, maybe the 15th best quarterback in the league. And that's just not good enough. He just doesn't have the physical tools. He don't have the physical tools. He's an injury-prone quarterback also. He doesn't have the biggest arm. He's not a exceptional athlete. He has suffered a bunch of injuries. He's not super accurate. You can't compare once-in-a-lifetime quarterback Tom Brady to every mediocre quarterback that ever comes out of college football. Like, come on. For every Tom Brady you can name, I can name 300 not Tom Brady's. You know what I mean? And if you want to have hope and, be a positive Patty for Quinn Ewers, by all means, that's up to you. And I hope nothing but success for the kid. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope he does turn into a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. I'm not going to sit here and put my hopium in all in one basket. You know what I mean? Glenn, but for all those for every Tom Brady, there's 300 not Tom Brady's. Cap, I don't even want to talk about fantasy football. Josh Allen gave me 6 points yesterday. 6 points in my other league. In that league, I dominated. I outscored every team by 200 points. Every team I outscored by 200 points. And I'm going to lose in the first round. Glenn, if he don't have the physical tools, he don't have the physical tools. He don't got the tools. If you want to sit there and have some false hope in another quarterback, I'm done with that, though. Go get me someone that is worthy of playing quarterback. I don't want to have to cross my fingers and hope. I'm done with that. I'm done with crossing my. Well, he could. I hope he does. Well, if this, and this go right, he can be a franchise quarterback. Glenn, do you gamble? Play the odds. Play the odds. Can you win the lottery? Sure. Are you going to win the lottery? Probably not. I don't know that Quinn Ewers isn't going to turn into a Pro Bowl quarterback, but everything is showing me that he's not going to turn into the Miami Dolphins' next franchise quarterback. I want someone that has real potential, that's got all the physical gifts, that's a hard worker, that loves football. And I don't want to settle any longer. I don't want to settle for someone, well, he could be. If we get the right coach, if we surround him with a bunch of the right receivers, if they have a top-notch running game and a top defense, Tua Tagovailoa, we can win a Super Bowl. No, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Good morning, Big C. What happened to the D? I know we had rookies in the back front line, but got dominated. How we feeling going to our fourth D coach? I think if I want to have Weaver back as the defensive coordinator. I think he needs what was clear yesterday, and there's a couple things that were made clear yesterday from yesterday's game. And I'll tell you about them right now. First and foremost, the offseason, that's not true, Glenn. All quarterbacks can't be when drafted. What's clear to me is that the Miami Dolphins need to address the pass rush. We need to find us a dominant pass rusher. Bradley Chubb's probably going to be gone. Jalen Phillips is out the door. Chop Robinson's had an underwhelming second season. We need to find us a dominant pass rusher. We need to find us a dominant pass rusher. That's first and foremost. That game showed me yesterday that, Joe Burrow had all day back there to sit there and distribute the ball to his playmakers. The few times that Joe Burrow was under pressure, he looked, he had the one completion out the backfield to the tight end that was really nice. But if you can put pressure on most quarterbacks, you're going to have a great opportunity to beat them. So the Miami Dolphins definitely need to address this pass rush in the offseason. We need to find us a dominant pass rusher. And I still have high hopes for Chop, but again, Chop's had an underwhelming second year. Another clear and obvious need for this Miami Dolphins team, and obviously we need a quarterback, right? But another glaring need, we need a pass rusher, and we need a dominant number one wide receiver. The lack of a true number one wide receiver is so evident on this team. There's nobody that's going to go up and get any throws. There's no one that's going to take over the game from the wide receiver position. We need a Jamar Chase. We need a CeeDee Lamb. We need a Jordan Jefferson. We need a Justin Jefferson, my fault. We need a dominant number one wide receiver. We need guys that can create separation. We need guys that can get the 50-50 balls. We need a true number one wide receiver. This team doesn't have that. We barely got a top number two receiver. After that, after Jalen Waddle, what is there? The cupboard's bare. The cupboard's bare. Malik Washington hasn't showed me nothing. Nick Westbrook-Kine, nothing. Taj Washington, nothing. Glenn, and I get you blame coaches for development. And do I think some of it is coaching? Yes. Yeah, sure. But show me what guys are in the building that are worthy that you feel like could develop into top tier talent. None of those guys have top tier talent. Malik Washington might be shifty, decent hands, I guess. Taj Washington has shown potential after the catch. But none of these guys are, none of these guys are, they're fourth, fifth starting wide receivers at best. These guys are not, they're at the brink of not making the cut on the roster. And then we need corner help. The third thing that we need is we need a corner. We need a defensive back that can go line up and battle the Jamar Chases of the world, the Justin Jeffersons of the world, the CeeDee Lambs of the world. We need a corner that can lock up the best wide receivers in the NFL. We need someone that can take half the field away. No, we need to get away with small, fast receivers that get jammed at the line. And Glenn, I agree. But you can get fast receivers that just aren't small. There's plenty of receivers that run, 4.4s, even 4.3s that are decent size. Now I think if we had a top tier corner, a top tier receiver, and I think this team could be completely different. But Quinn Ewers, again, he had a nice little game, but nothing spectacular, nothing that showed me that he can be the face of this franchise. If anything, he showed me what I already knew about him. I think he can be a backup quarterback in this league. If you're hoping for more than that, I think you're putting yourself in a position to get your feelings hurt. And I don't want to be the negative one. I'm just trying to call it like I see it. Now let's get to Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, it's time to cut. It's time to cut bait. It's time to cut our losses. It's time to move on fully. Mike McDaniel, even when the pressure's on to do your very best, to prove to ownership, prove to your players that you're the right guy for the job, you just continue to let this franchise down. You continue to let the fans down. Your play calling is atrocious. You still struggle to get 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s. Your play calling in those situations is absolutely retarded. You far too often get away from the run. Your team is not set up to even run a 2-minute offense. I mean, this team is unprepared most weeks. And that's what it comes down to. If you look at last week versus Pittsburgh, that 4th quarter, there was no sense of urgency because they weren't in a position to run a 2-minute offense. Mike McDaniel pretty much said that this team is unprepared to run a 2-minute offense. Yesterday happened, we let a bad defensive team, one of the worst defensive teams in all of football, beat us up front, beat us in the trenches. And you hope that Jonah can get better. You hope that Aaron Brewer's been great for us. But them 3rd and 1s, them 4th and 1s, that is a product of the type of offense that we run. We have these smaller, more athletic linemen. We don't have no guys that are going to bully people. This offensive line is a finesse offensive line. I'm ready to get some big and uglies down there that can straight roll over guys. Because our production on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and short, 4th and short has been abysmal under Mike McDaniel. We be in the shotgun on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Like I don't know what he be thinking. We didn't run the ball. We didn't run the ball great yesterday. Yeah, we had over 100 yards rushing, but 50 of those came on the H-N run. The Cincinnati Bengals, one of the worst teams, one of the worst defenses in all of football, was giving us the business in the trenches. They were beating us up in the trenches. Quinn Ewers had 2 picks yesterday. In reality, he should have had 3. If Barrett Carter doesn't drop that ball, that's a 3rd interception. Like I said, Quinn Ewers, nothing spectacular. He needs to put more zip on his passes, be more decisive, trust himself. Like I said, that first pass to Waller, that was a bad decision. Waller just made a great play on it. That play could have turned out so badly. I'm not impressed by Quinn Ewers, but I'm not disappointed by him either. And yes, Glenn, one of those passes was pass interference. I mean, I showed that. Did you see the picture I showed, Glenn? Did you see the picture I showed? I'll pop it up again real quick. There's Quinn Ewers. There's the defensive back. The ball's way back here on the 5. Terrible play call. Terrible. Terrible call by the refs. The refs didn't do us no justice in this game. That's for sure. Absolutely terrible. I mean, and that wasn't even the worst call against us. That offensive pass interference was even worse. But it is what it is. Each and every week, there's bad calls made by bad refs. That 4th and 1 where Quinn Ewers slipped on the logo, they pushed that ball a foot and a half back before they did the measurement, the electronic measurement or whatever it's called. He was a lot closer to the first down marker than what they put that ball. But it is what it is. At this point, losses are better than wins for the Miami Dolphins because we can lose draft position. This hopefully gets us higher up that draft board by the end of the year. But it's terrible to see us lose in this fashion. Now, rumors, as far as Mike McDaniel, the play calling still sauce. The lack of making adjustments, still sauce. Coming out flat in the 3rd quarter. We are by far the worst 3rd quarter team in all of football. We've been dominated in 3rd quarters this year. Absolutely dominated. The point differential is something crazy. Absolutely terrible. At some point, Mike McDaniel needs to pay the piper. He needs to pay the piper. Now, Mike McDaniel was asked if Stephen Ross had told him whether he would be back for the next year yet. Of course, he said what any coach is going to say. I'm just concentrated on Tampa Bay right now. I almost feel like Stephen Ross has had to have said that to him. Ian Ramport, Adam Schefter have reported that Mike McDaniel's safe for next season. But who knows? Who knows? Even if Stephen Ross has told him that, Stephen Ross can go back on his word. And what yesterday's game was, what I call it, yesterday's game is one of those games that will cost your head coach their job. So even if before that game, Mike McDaniel was told that he was safe, the performance the Miami Dolphins put up yesterday was enough that Stephen Ross that performance could cost him his job. What up, JD? Clean house. Clean house. Break it all down. Clean house. Take your medicine. Take on the Tua contract. Do what you got to do. Build through the draft. And then 2 years from now, we'll have a shit ton of salary cap. And we should have a team filled with upper echelon draft picks. All right, Miller, maybe you did call for a fire sale. But I mean, I don't think anybody thought that it was really going to get this bad. I mean, nobody's seen Tyreek getting hurt. If you're a Tua hater, of course, you hoped it would get this bad, I guess. But I mean, this team was a playoff team. And then they were on the verge of making the playoffs. They missed the playoffs, but Tua had missed 6 games. So there's reason to be optimistic that the Miami Dolphins were going to come back this year and have some level of success if Tua could stay healthy. So you can't blame people for being optimistic. We won 9 games, or how many games did we win last year? 8 or 9? Either, it doesn't matter. We won 8 or 9 games with our quarterback missing 6. So why wouldn't it be understandable for the franchise, our fans, to expect to get to 10 wins, to get to a playoff berth? I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy at all. I mean, Miller, congratulations. Congratulations. You were right about the Dolphins sucking. I just hope that we can figure it out and turn this thing around. None of us are getting any younger. I want to say by the chat and by getting to know quite a few of you that, a lot of us are on that, later stages on that back 9. You know what I mean? Not, I want to say back 9. We're not, most of us aren't on the doorsteps of death, but you know what I mean? Like we're not getting any younger. We're not getting any younger, and shoot, what can we do? Hopefully this Miami Dolphins team can get it figured out. I said Chop was going to lead the league in sacks. I was wrong. I ain't gonna lie, I was wrong. But that's why I'm not going to continue to put false hopium into players like Quinn Ewers. I did that too far and too often in the past. I wanted to be so positive, and I wanted things to go so well that I lied to myself. I didn't allow myself to see when the writing was on the wall. So it is what it is. Miami Dolphins struggling. I would not be surprised if we heard that Mike McDaniel will be fired. But as of right now, Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter are reporting that Mike McDaniel is safe for next year. At this point, I feel that's a mistake. Again, I've tried to be a supporter of Mike McDaniel. I've tried to support his decisions. I think Mike McDaniel could still have a bright future in the NFL. I just don't think it's here. I just don't think it's here. He's got to do some real life internal investigations of the way he sees football and the way he goes about conducting his business. Because if this team is a front running team, Mike McDaniel in the 4 or 5 years that he's been here has never shown an ability to come back when shit has hit the fan. He's a great front runner. He can call a great game plan if the Miami Dolphins are out front and got the lead. He knows what he's doing in those situations. But if you're down 14, you're in trouble. And yeah, we had the game against Baltimore a few years back. But for the most part, Mike McDaniel struggles when he faces adversity. And that's why we have the record we have against successful teams. Because Mike McDaniel don't know how to handle that. He don't know how to handle adversity. He doesn't know how to handle making adjustments and, oh my God, the game plan's not working. What do I do from here? That's just not his forte. But it is what it is. Miami Dolphins drop another game. Hopefully, we can continue to move up the draft board. I would love to see Quinn Ewers come out and have a very good game against a Tampa Bay team next week, a game that Tampa Bay needs to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. I would say that the Tampa Bay defense is a more talented defense than Cincinnati. So I think this is going to be a big test for Quinn Ewers. And then, of course, we got the New England Patriots to finish out the year. I don't think we see another victory this year, guys. I just don't. It is what it is. Hopefully we can finish with a top 10 pick. And hopefully we have someone in the building by then that can draft the players that we need to move forward. But, we shall move on and we shall be here and continue to cheer this team. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm going to get out of here. I love y'all. I appreciate you all. Again, a devastating loss. You hate to see your team lose. You hate to see them lose in that type of fashion, especially to a bad football team. But a loss is a loss. They count the same, regardless if it's by 20 or if it's by 2. They still count the same. One loss. We're still eliminated from the playoffs. It doesn't make us any worse. So, on to the next one. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share, and I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and you know what it is. Fins up, baby. Peace.
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. changing the game. Fins up high, feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing, we scorching the floor. Moving the tour, we stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse, we the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it aqua tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.